Okay, so it's supposed to be International Women's Day. I would never know when these days are if it wasn't for Twitter and everybody tweeting this stuff, because I don't really pay attention. I mean, I pay attention to, holidays when, you know, you don't go anywhere or the businesses are closed, and half the time I don't even remember those. But it's International Women's Day, and, you know, of course, the woman dominating the news today is Meghan Markle. And I'm, looking at Twitter and I'm seeing the narrative play out, and I'm looking at my local news. And of course, they've reduced everything to the clip of her saying she had suicidal thoughts and the remarks that she said somebody made about, you know, what little Archie's skin color would be when he was born. And that's basically what it's all been reduced down to. And I'm saying to myself, on International Women's Day, she's exactly the kind of woman that I would not want, if I had a kid, I would not want them looking up to, boy or girl. Because she's just, the whole interview, she was portraying herself as a victim. Somebody who needed protecting by a family. She needed protection from tabloids who were writing stories about her as they have done about everybody else. She also alluded to the fact that as an actor, she's in the actors union, so it kind of almost sounded like she wished there had been like a royalty union, like a union for royals, so that somebody could protect her from the tabloids. And so trying to portray herself as a victim of the tabloids and a victim of this family and a victim of racism, which honestly, you know, like I said, I grew up, half of my DNA is from the Cape Verde Islands, the other half is from Portugal. Um, I, like I said, when I was a kid, I grew up around the Cape Verdean side, and those people, occasionally people on that side would say negative things about white people and stuff like that, and I was supposed to think of myself in certain ways, and I was just, at some point I was like, this is ridiculous. If anything, I'm two things, but in reality I'm just a human being, and I don't want any part of that crap. I think it's stupid. Like I said, when you're filling out forms, when you're trying to get scholarships and stuff like that, I could have marked down something and gotten scholarships based on race, and I never ever wanted to do that. I didn't apply for any race-based scholarships or anything like that. When I filled out my forms, like I said, I think somebody at the high school may have changed one of my forms after I submitted it, but and made me Hispanic, which I'm not Hispanic at all. But I always put other. I didn't feel like it was right to. I didn't want to be that anyway. I didn't want to be somebody who's saying, give me special treatment because people I don't know came from somewhere else. I never met them, but they came from somewhere else. So give me, a special boost, you know. And again, like I said, to be not particularly dark and to claim that you're being treated in certain ways, it just, something smacks of ham with that for me. I have the same issue with Colin Kaepernick. He doesn't look remotely black to me. He looks like John Turturro at best. I don't know his parentage. I looked it up. He was adopted, and he was adopted by Italians. So I don't know what his parents really were. I don't know if he knows. I think he thinks he knows, but I don't know if people got DNA tests or whatever. But he looks, like I said, he looks like an Italian to me. Meghan is extremely light-skinned person. So for those kind of people to be making a career out of racism, or it I don't know. I question why people go for that, you know. But I'm over here talking about International Women's Day. You know, we have Meghan leading the headlines, playing the victim of, and I'm not saying that people were incredibly nice to her, everything was wonderful, but just everything she said last night was as if it was beyond the idea of what somebody expects to life to be like when you're a princess. If you're like 5 years old and you want to be a princess and have tea parties, you don't have such silly fantasies as whatever Meghan Markle was talking about. The other thing is, she's talked about suicide, and it's weird now. The media is now saying how great it is that she talked about her suicidal thoughts, and I'm like, you know what? A few years back, there was this great series, 13 Reasons Why, and I watched it. I thought it was awesome, and I said, oh, this would be great for people, you know, to understand suicide and why people may, you know, be driven to suicide by others and circumstances and things like that, and not always say it's mental illness, you got a chemical imbalance and stuff. I thought it was a great show. What ends up happening? They ding the show. They start complaining about the show. It's going to trigger kids. It's going to spread suicide. It's going to do all this stuff. And I thought it was a really good thing, but immediately it got, you know, lambasted. And now I'm looking at her being applauded for talking about this, and I'm like, why are there different rules for everybody? Why are some people wonderful and some people aren't? Some people can say certain things and other people can't. You know, some people, you know, it's clear that the woke people or the woke media or the mainstream media, they pick and choose who's right and who's wrong. They tell you who's a good guy and who's a bad guy. They tell you who you can listen to and who's crap. And you know what I mean? So it's International Women's Day, and she has taken the whole talking points. Meanwhile, I'm over here watching YouTube videos of the people I subscribe to, and everybody's talking about how Gina Carano was just recently fired. Now, here was a strong woman who people could look up to. She had character enough to stand up to a huge corporation. Nobody does that. You know what I mean? She had the bravery within herself to do that. Meanwhile, little miss, needing all the protection in the world from a powerful family against newspapers. Nobody's firing her. Nobody's doing anything to her. But she's on TV making a case for how desperately her life wasn't worth living and it was unsurvivable, and how horrible everything was for her being in a palace and you know, just really playing up the girly girl, I need saving, all that crap. And she's, you know, this golden figure for people who are supposed to be woke, and somebody like Gina Carano, who really is the definition of strong. I mean, she's, you know, not acting like a girly girl ever, as, you know, her whole persona, and to stand up for what's right and for her freedom of speech and to have real opinions and to think her own thoughts. And she got fired by another woman who was supposed to be about strong women. But that's the thing. People really hate strong women. Men don't. Other women do, because they're not strong women. And you find that out when you're a strong woman, that the mean girls circle and try to take you down because they're jealous of your strength. They will use their feminine wiles to manipulate men the way you may get yourself married into royalty, and then try to take them all down by dishonest, manipulative, passive-aggressive, victimhood, you know, the whole thing that is so wrong about so many of these current topics, where people just cry and say, poor me, these people were bad to me. Go get them, punish them, boo hoo hoo. And like, I'm the small fry, they're the big thing. They're privileged, they're white, they're male. Obviously, I'm the poor me. Now go get them on behalf of me because I'm so small and I'm so delicate and I can't handle anything and I need protecting and they didn't protect me, and all that weakness that you're putting on display, and the stupid narrative, the stupid media bullshit where they turn around and say that this weakness and this mamby-pamby victimhood philosophy where you're calling out people who is, basically her whole complaint is the absence of them doing something. They didn't do whatever she thought that they had the ability to do to stop the tabloids from writing trash about her, just like tabloids have written trash about everybody since time began, like I said. But in her case, these people were supposed to stop them, and that they didn't stop them was the great help that she needed that she didn't get. Again, the media will twist it like it's about mental health, and she didn't get some kind of psychiatric help, or they didn't get her help in terms of therapy or anything like that. It's not what she said in the interview, but it's being twisted and pieced together to be that this poor little victim was being, treated with racism and bigotry and all kinds of crap, and they weren't helping her, and they were going to make her commit suicide and all this stuff. And they are taking that interview and they're twisting it into that. That's not even what she said. But they're taking the sound bites of her just looking teary and being so sad. And it's like, where did society come from to get to this point? A couple years ago, people want to be Wonder Woman. Now we're back to wanting to be Blanche Devereaux. And needing people to take care of us and needing people to, I don't know. It's like they just keep changing what's supposed to be brave and what's supposed to be strong and what's supposed to make you a role model for kids. And it's just, it drives me crazy because it's like she's phony to me. And the kind of people that I would look up to. Okay, here's a good example. Her friend Serena Williams. They are friends. I know they are friends. I know Serena stuck up for her. I understand that. But Serena is somebody who, even though she's younger than me, who I would have looked up to, because I've watched Serena play tennis. I watched her win her first U.S. Open title. I watched her win almost all her titles. Okay, those girls, her and her sister, they were treated with the racism and the bigotry and all the stuff that Meghan is saying happened to her. They went through all kinds of crap. They were called things. They were accused. Other players would say crap like they were dudes or something on the court, like when they were going, you know what I mean? They went through so much stuff. There were times when there was that, I will never forget that time Serena at the US Open had the argument with the little Asian line judge. I was 100% behind Serena. I'd been a tennis fan forever. I knew the situation. I understood what was going wrong. But because of Serena's build, what she looked like, they made her into a monster when that teeny little was trying to steal a title away from her for whatever reason. Because she had that little tiny power, and little tiny people will do this. This is why it's not all women together and we're all, on the same team. When you look at all these things, when you look at Me Too, in the case of so many women who were truly victimized, who victimized them? Just men, or was it the women who served them up? Or was it the women who told them not to say anything? Or was it the women who told them to, you'll never work in this town again? It was the women who said they'll never believe you, don't go to the cops. You know what I mean? This is why this women's thing, sometimes when you know what you really know, if you are ever try to be a strong woman or somebody who stands up, it's usually other women who take you down. And it's usually the ones playing the game, being the victim. I've always depended on the kindness of strangers. It's those girls being pretty, being demure, who are out there manipulating the situation, using their feminine wiles, and then flipping it later on and saying, victim, victim, poor me. And those of us who were strong, we're the ones who get kicked to the curb. We're the ones who get shunned from society. We're the ones who get fired. We're the ones who everybody hates because we tell the truth and we're honest and we don't go around being pretty little Miss Feminine. I need protection. Ooh, I couldn't deal with being in a palace. Ooh, and then they get called brave and strong. And the rest of us get called every kind of horrible bigot, Nazi, kind of, homophobe, transphobe, whatever. Because we have opinions and we express them honestly. And we're not playing the game. And we're not sitting there being victims and, fey little creatures. I couldn't handle all the horribleness of having to curtsy. Happy International Women's Day. Cut the shit. Don't celebrate women if you're not really celebrating women. If you want everybody in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant and you're pretending you want something else and you're going to call them, brave and strong for being famous for getting married, and then coming on TV and crying about how you had to, deal with normal family crap most people have to when they get married. So brave and strong.